Final hour OverDrive continues. Brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line of the final score. Bob Weeks coming up live from the PGA Championship. Our PGA picks still to come. Our best bets still to come. The slide will be debuted. We've got a few possible DMs that we're going to get to.
Yeah.
All right. And I guess Elias Pettersson spoke to the media today, which I appreciate. I know a lot of teams that would hide their best player, right? Taking heat, coach.
He's not talking today.
Yeah, exactly. It would just be, nope, not available. I know a lot of teams that would run from the heat. And I appreciate that Vancouver said, you got to go out. Like, you're making $11.6 million moving forward. You're our best player. You haven't been very good. We're in the playoffs. Go speak. And it was as painful as you would expect it would be. Just watching, some of the clips in the break.
Let's play them.
Well, yeah, I don't know if we can or not. I've sent them, but we'll see. But, it's a scenario where he looks – I don't know if he looks uncomfortable, dejected, somewhat not vindictive, but it's like he doesn't want to be up there for one. We have one of these, JP? Okay, let's play a clip here, an example of kind of what Pettersson was going through this afternoon in Vancouver.
Perspective. Why has it been so difficult these last 3 months to generate the way you maybe did previously?
Yeah, good question.
Any thoughts, any answers?
No.
From your perspective, why has it been...
All right, there you go. That's good enough. But that's awkward, man.
That's the wrong answer, man. Like, just his teammates don't want to hear it. Like, nobody wants to hear it. All he's got to say... And I can't stand doing this, but I do it anyway, to say what you should say, because there's nothing that would make anything better. But all you have to say is, I got to find my game here quickly and try to help this team beat the Edmonton Oilers. Because if I don't find my game, I could be a primary reason why we don't win the series. So that's all I got to do. Whatever's happened in the past, I just got to find a way to get to my game tomorrow night. That's it.
Yeah, and just if you don't have answers, say, listen, I'm working at it. I care, you're asking me about Jamie, it. I care.
That looked like I believe that was Farhan, Farhan Walji that asked the question. And it was he had the look on his face like, I can't believe you had the audacity to ask me that, which is like, that's Farhan's job. And I get it.
Reasonable.
No
question.
Kidding. And it
What's
was framed in a nice question. He just said, do you have any answers to why the production isn't what it usually is? Right. And to look at Farhan and give that response, it's just like, come on, man. What are you doing here?
Well, he looked defeated. Like his body language was poor. Like I've always been told, disarm people with the truth. I need to be better. That's it. And people are like, yeah, you do need to be. That's why we're asking you. What do you make of it? I don't have the answers, but I'm working at it. I know I need to be better. JT Miller was so pissed at himself last night, he wouldn't take another question because he said, I'm not answering questions about my teammates. I just blew that last goal. He took it upon, he goes, it's on me. There were other guys on the ice that got beat to the net, that got pushed off the puck. But Miller was so mad at himself, he just said, I need to be better. And you know what? I expect JT Miller to have a response tomorrow. Pettersson, his body language, the answer, it was off for me. I didn't like it.
Well, and Farhan, added to it like the last few months. And I'm assuming what's happening is they're connecting the contract being signed with the production falling off. And let's face it, like in the salary cap, there's no salary cap in the playoffs.
No, and there's no money discussions in the playoffs. That was about his play in the Stanley Cup playoffs. There's no money attached to the question. It's like, what are you doing out there right now, and why is it not what it's supposed to be or what it usually is? There's no money attached to it. Nobody cares about money in the playoffs.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I mean, I think what ends up happening is in the salary cap era, you are what your cap hit is.
I do understand that, Brian, but this is not about a cap hit. This is about him being. Jamie just said it. He's their best player. So
yes, and he's not
what's up?
Well. I got you. Yeah, no, I agree with you. What I'm saying is, it is simply about the production. I understand that. What I'm saying is, from a fan perspective and a media perspective, I think it's even more possibly, I don't want to say vitriolic, but like really you're losing it on this guy because of the money he's making on top of it. So I'm sure there's a concern in the back of your mind. Did they just attach themselves to a guy who can't play in the playoffs? Like that's like in would he be getting here's another thing that's pissing people off, I guarantee it. Would he be getting $11.6 million a year if they didn't sign him during the season and waited until after the season was over? I don't know. Right? Like, if this is the way he played since the deal signed and this is the way he's playing in the playoffs, is there a chance Vancouver goes, listen, man, we're not giving you 11-6. See what you just did? How you just played? Give you 11. Give you 10-7-5. I mean, again, there's a parallel with Marner here in town. It's the same. It's same type of player, same body type, same kind of can be uncomfortable when it gets physical, but a cerebral, uber-talented stud during the regular season, making a lot of money. And, Marner, on top of the production, people also hold the contract against him. And I'm guessing that there's probably an element of that in Vancouver.
I guess, Brian, at the end of the day, when you're making that much money, it's always going to come up when the play is like that. That's just the bottom line.
When you make a boatload
and it sucks
of money.
about the salary cap era. That's why the salary cap and the finite numbers suck, because there's no wiggle room, and everyone's got to have a calculator out. But what you get paid is what you're expected to supply, and he's expected to supply a lot. Yeah, a lot. Not far off what the other guy. Like, he's making $3 million more than Draisaitl next year. Yeah, only less than $1 million less than McDavid, and he's just not showing up. Yeah. All right, our picks are still to come. Our best bets later in the hour. PGA Championship beginning tomorrow. Let's head down to Louisville, Kentucky. Here's Bob Weeks, our TSN Golf analyst and reporter. How you doing, Weeksy?
Doing very well, thank you.
All right. So we had Scott Vail on earlier, the caddy for Keegan Bradley, and Keegan goes off with Tiger and Adam Scott tomorrow. And, he said there's a lot of excitement. Obviously, Tiger on the grounds, Tiger playing. I noticed the other day when he did his media, it felt very, very muted. I didn't sense a lot of hype. I know you're down there. It's probably different on the grounds. But from the outside, Bob, it doesn't feel like anyone's talking about Tiger, like actually doing anything this week. What is the vibe like down there?
Pretty much the same. I mean, there was a big turnout for his presser, and there was, pretty big crowds following him around, but it's almost ceremonial now than anything. Like, he just doesn't seem like he's really capable of doing anything. And don't forget, he's not only is he broken, but he's 48 years old, so he's not a young guy anymore, and he just has no reps. That's the biggest issue, right? He just has not played very much golf. When he does, he's either just making the cut at Augusta, or he's injured and walking off, or whatever. He looks healthy. He looks fit. He looks fine. I saw him play a few holes, and he's hitting the ball okay, but I just don't think he can go 4 rounds with the likes of Scheffler and McIlroy and John Rahm and these kind of guys out there anymore.
Weeksy, what would surprise you more, him making the cut or him missing the cut?
Good question. Probably making the cut at this point. I just don't. I mean, it's funny to think about it, but he won here, but it was 24 years ago. That's a long time. And I think this golf course it's a big boy golf course. It's a big ballpark, and you got to hit it a long way. You got to go up and down. It's not a place that he knows like he knew Augusta National, which is like the back of his hand. He did come up here last week and had a little bit of a scouting mission, but I just don't think he's got the horses anymore. And so I would be more surprised if he actually played 4 rounds here than went home on Friday night.
Bobby, the last 7 or 8 years, you put a big boy park with those guys out there, everyone would look to Koepka. It would just seem like he won some big boy golf tournaments on some big boy courses. Is that Scheffler right now? Like, is it kind of like Tiger where he was just on a heater and it's like, this guy's winning this golf tournament? Is that kind of the consensus there?
I think there's like 4 guys who can win here this week, honestly. I think Scheffler is one of them for sure. I think you could put Rahm and Koepka in there, and I think you put Rory in there. I mean, Rory's got the long ball flight as well. He's, I think, second in driving distance on the tour. But Scheffler right now he doesn't have a weak part of his game. I went through the stats on the PGA Tour website this afternoon. I don't know how many different categories there are, but he's in first place in 37 different categories. Now that includes official World Golf ranking and FedEx Cup and money. He's got like $18 million he's won this year already. But there's just nothing you can look to him and say, oh yeah, well his putting can go off now that he's got that new mallet putter, or his wedge plays poor. There's just not a weak link out there. So I don't really know how this guy loses, to be perfectly honest with you, unless he's tired from changing diapers from his newborn baby.
Bobby, Rory McIlroy usually, he's not, and this can happen to anybody, but he's not usually part of this type of drama. Like how does he look, like just physically? Does he look drained, or how's Rory look?
You know, he came in for the presser today and it was short. That was a real shocker. Usually Rory will sit there for half an hour. He was in there in and out in 10 minutes by his own request. Before the presser started, they said, like, no questions on his personal stuff. And he did, to me, look a little tired, but he also looked like he wanted to be anywhere but standing in front of us. But I think he looked pretty happy when I saw him later on the golf course. He was joking with caddies and players that were inside the ropes with him and stuff. So I don't know.
How happy, Bobby? How happy?
Not overly happy. He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't really happy to be. He wasn't skipping down the middle of a fairway or anything like that. But he did seem to be enjoying himself on the golf course. And listen, we're finding out about this stuff. Imagine it's probably going on for quite a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, like he wins at Quail Hollow, McIlroy flies to Florida, files for divorce, and then flies to Louisville. Like the way he played on Sunday, Bob, I said on Monday, that's one of the best Sunday rounds we've seen on tour all year, in years. I mean, he lapped the field when everyone was getting crushed by that course. And I don't know, he's won here before. He hasn't won in 10 years, but he's won at Valhalla. He's won the PGA. I kind of got a sneaking suspicion this is it for McIlroy. It'd be a great story.
I mean, if you want to get away and get your mind off that other stuff, what a better way to play golf. He did say today that the two things that are really working for him is the new driver he's got in the bag. He said it's the best one they've made for him in probably the last 7 or 8 years. He loves the driver, and he's also his sort of half shots, his wedge shots, they're really, really tight. He was, last Sunday he was hitting a lot of shots close, a lot of shots pin high. If he does that here, I tell you, he's got so much length for one thing. This course is soaking. It's pretty wet. We're supposed to get some more rain later in the week. So I think it's going to be a soggy one. And if you hit it a long way and you can hit wedges into some of these greens, Rory's your guy right now.
Is there added yardage, Bobby? Because when Tiger won there, the Ryder Cup there, and I know the USA wanted to put together a bomber team on that golf course, but when Tiger's win over Bob May, I don't remember it being this like beast. Did they add yardage to the tees?
They've added a little bit, like 150 yards, not a ton, but I think it's just playing a lot longer because of the wetness of it. I think it's about 7,600 yards, which is about standard or a little bigger for some of the majors, but it's spread out over a lot of property as well, which makes it look bigger than it probably really is. But there's no roll. I mean, the balls are, I don't even know if they're going to play lift, cleaner, place or anything like that. They've done it before in this tournament, the only major that's done it, but they might have to if it rains on Friday like it's supposed to. So it just feels bigger than it probably really is. But the guys are all talking about it in terms of yardage that you got to hit it.
With Bob Weeks, how about the Canadians? I mean, there's a lot of Canadians in the field. Pendrith is coming in on a heater. Corey Connors, obviously Nick Taylor's generally a big game player. I could see him in the mix this week. Mac had a great week last week. Mackenzie Hughes. How are you handicapping the Canadian chances of at least being in contention for the weekend?
Yeah, I think Pendrith might be the guy to watch. I mean, again, he's one of the top 5 or 6 drivers in terms of distance on the PGA Tour. He's got those big levers, and he can really hit it out there, and he's putting so well right now. So he's kind of got both ends of the game going as well, coming off that win and then a top 10 last week as well. He might run out of steam. That's the only thing I can say. He's played 5 weeks in a row. I talked to him a little bit today. He did seem a little tired, but he said they've been celebrating a little bit as well. And all these guys right now have a busy stretch right now. They're going to decide the 2 spots for the Olympic team at the end of the U.S. Open. So that's 3 or 4 weeks now. Have to put the hammer down. Nick Taylor's pretty much got one locked up, but Connors, Hadwin, and Pendrith are all within 5 spots of each other on the world ranking, so anything can happen, and those could switch around. And those guys want that spot. They want to be on the Olympics, all of them. Mac Hughes included. He'd need a couple of big weeks to do something, but it's not out of reach yet. And then, of course, you're talking about President's Cup, which is those guys probably want to be on more so than the Olympic team. They want to play in Montreal for the international team. So they got a busy little stretch coming up here right now. But if I was to pick one guy this week, I think it would either be Corey or it would be Taylor Pendrith. Corey's got the accuracy, so he can hit 5 irons into 7 feet on the greens. But Taylor's going to be hitting shorter clubs in than any of the other Canadians, so he might be the guy to watch.
I love it. Well, it's going to be a fun week. And down at Valhalla, obviously a lot of history there. Tigers won there before. McIlroy, back in Louisville, Justin Thomas's hometown. It should be a fun week, Bob. You're down there, full coverage on TSN all weekend. Enjoy it, and we'll do it again soon.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
There's our buddy Bob Weeks. All right, let's get after it here. You ready to get some picks going here? Because we've got a major here in OverDrive. PGA Picks brought to you by TaylorMade. Meet the all-new TP5, the softest 5-layer tour ball in TP5X, now a half club longer. Play the number 1 ball for you. Visit TaylorMadeGolf.ca to learn more. That driver Rory's playing is the QI10. I share the same sentiments. It is a rock star driver.
It is, man.
It's so good, man. Yeah. McIlroy is crushing it. I'm crushing it. I'm finding fairways. And if I can
those
find
guys
fairways,
those guys up in Vaughan are dialed in. Whatever driver they put in your hands when you walk out the door, that's the driver for you. Anything goes wrong after that, it's human error. Because I am hitting drives right now with that thing that are just – it's just so good, the way that they know what shaft to put in what head, and they hand it to you, and you're dialed in. It's an awesome experience.
Yeah, it is. The TaylorMade crew, it's awesome. The QI10, and again, we're both playing the TP5. Everything's locked in, everything's dialed in. All right, so what are we going to do here? I think maybe a 5-pack, maybe a 6-pack, right? A 5-pack plus a bonus. A Canadian. I think we do Tiger versus Phil. I think we do Daly versus Block. Obviously not to win, but who's going to finish better, right? We'll keep track of that, and then we can go from there. What are we thinking here?
I'm thinking I get the first pick.
You're thinking
or do you want
the first pick? Well, I will say I had McIlroy at Quail Hollow, so I'm coming off a win. I did pick Rory last week, so I feel good about that, which means I'll give you the first pick. I'm cool with that.
All right.
Go ahead.
This is like 2000. This is like I might as well just rewind to 2000, where Tiger was automatic. Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah,
that's
what killed me at the Masters, man. You had the first pick. You took Scheffler, and it was like,
that's it.
Scotty. I don't know, man. I don't think he's not going to win every single major. He just had a kid.
Dude, what does the kid have to do with anything? He's gonna tee it up and kill these guys, man.
That's a big life change, man. You know what it's like. Like it's a life change. I don't know what his story is. I don't know where his head's at. How focused is he? But he's FaceTiming a lot more on the road than he was before. I'm going to take McIlroy. I know he hasn't won a major in 10 years, but there's something about what he showed me on Sunday. Him bebopping down the fairway. He's got a smile on his face. He likes this course. He's won here before. He loves the QI10. Playing the TP5, everything's coming together. McIlroy.
Single, enjoying his life.
That's what I'm saying. My only concern is this guy, he's out tonight and forgets about his tee time tomorrow. But I think Rory, I got a sneaking suspicion old McIlroy's in the hunt come Sunday.
I'm going to go with Koepka. I think he might poke his head out and just say, let's get another one.
Yeah? Okay.
It seems like this kind of event he would just dominate.
Absolutely. Course like this, the tougher it is, the more difficult the field.
And that's with no visual of his form. Like I do not see that guy hit golf shots. I don't watch.
And he's the reigning champ at the PGA, right? He's won it 3 times. He won it last year. And the guy is coming off a victory on Live. Again, I think that's completely irrelevant. But it doesn't matter what this guy's doing. Anywhere. When he shows up at a major, if he's healthy, he's in the hunt. Koepka's a good pick. I'm going to take John Rahm. Rahm, I think, was weighing on him at Augusta. He didn't perform well at Augusta, but he's still, it's kind of like Koepka. I don't know what kind of form he's in, but he's still in his prime. I think he's over the awkwardness of it all, and he's just a world-class player. He's one of the best. These are the 4 best players.
Yes.
Scheffler, McIlroy, Koepka, Rahm. Like, those are the 4 best players when they're healthy and on their game.
And the winner's going to come from one of those 4 guys you just mentioned, most likely.
Feels that way, which I don't know if that's a good thing for golf, that it's so predictable.
Yeah, it is a good thing because there's been some leaderboards where the golf fan I don't think necessarily has loved.
Ideally, all 4 of them are in the hunt. Then you're talking. Like, you get all 4 of them within a shot or 2 on Sunday, you're cooking. All right, now it gets tough. All right,
Oh,
who do you have for your
Not
third
for
pick?
me.
No?
Not for me. Ludwig Oberg.
Ludwig, he crushes a golf ball.
He does
crush a golf ball.
And he will win majors, and soon.
Yeah, I can't argue against that. I'm going to take Wyndham Clark.
Good
Wyndham
pick.
Clark. He had a great start to the year. He's kind of cooled off a little bit. He had a great first round at Augusta, then faded, but that was his first time there. Won the U.S. Open last year. Guy's a grinder. He competes. If he's in the mix, he'll be fighting on Sunday. Wyndham Clark with my third pick. All right, fourth pick. Who do you got?
I'm going to go a little bit off the tracks here. I'm going to take Bryson. Bryson.
I was looking at him.
If it's wet out there and you need to carry the golf ball, I think he's a guy that can obviously move the rock, and I just like his chances. Bryson DeChambeau.
Okay. I like that pick. I think you're looking at guys who can bomb the golf ball. Like, there's guys who I know will be in the hunt. I just don't think they can close. I'm going to go off the beaten path here. I'm going to take Cam Young. I'm going to take Cameron Young. I know he hasn't won on tour yet, but he crushes golf balls. If he finds fairways, I think he's in the hunt. He actually shows up a lot at majors. Cameron Young. All right, fifth pick. Who do you have?
I'm going to go with Max Homa. I think he's going to break through in the majors. I don't know if this is the golf course for him.
Okay.
But I'm going to take him.
All right. I like it. You know what? I'm going to take Xander, even though I said what I just said.
Oh, man. How many times do you need your
the
heart
guy,
broken?
he'll top 5 it this week. I'd be willing to put money on a top 5. I don't think he can close. Like, look, he was tied with McIlroy on Sunday with like 8 shots to go, and he just, McIlroy took off. He wasn't going to beat him anyway. But I think he went 2 over down the stretch. But Xander's always in the hunt. I'll take Xander.
I want to take a couple little sneaky picks here.
All right, so we're going to add a couple of sneaky bonuses.
Yeah.
Sneaky bonuses.
Sneaky bonuses. Fitzy and Billy Zoltz.
I like Bill Zolt. I do. All right, you want sneaky? I'll take the local guy. I'll take Justin Thomas. JT, he's from there. I don't love the form he's in right now. Who else can I get that's sneaky?
Sahith Theegala.
Okay, give me a 2-pack. Sahith, and I'm going to take Tony Finau. Then I'm done. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. So you have one more.
It's like 10. How many is there?
Well, and we have a Canadian, and we got others.
I'll take Sammy Burns. No.
Shane
Lowry.
Shane Lowry. I don't know about that. All right.
Canadian. Who's your Canadian? I'm going Nicky Taylor, or you want him?
You already established earlier in the week you want Nick. You can have him. I'll take Connors. I'll take Corey. Pendrith is very enticing. I'll take Pendrith. You take Mac. It's a major. There you go. Done.
All right.
Done. Tiger or Phil?
I'm not taking Tiger. No way. I'm taking Phil. Phil's my
guy. Tiger. I love having Tiger.
No, you
always
don't.
want Tiger.
No, you don't.
I love having Tiger.
No.
I love it.
No.
It's minus
Phil.
money. It's actually big plus money for him to make the cut on FanDuel.
Is there any chance, like, I'm being dead serious, that he surprises you? And it's like, this guy makes the cut.
The surprise is making the cut for me, Noodles. He can't win. There's no way he can win.
There's 0%. So if this was a Jerry's, 0%,
yes.
he can win.
I'm on board with 0% right now.
He's not. He can't play. I don't think he can get through 4 rounds. He's too tired. He was exhausted at Augusta. He finished last, like, for the guys that made the cut at Augusta. It was really ugly.
Isn't that humbling for him? Like that, because he's got an ego, right?
It's too bad, man. Like, people have noticed, he was a killer early in his career. Like, we had Scotty Vail join us a couple hours ago. Scotty was like, no one talked to him. People were on edge. They're on eggshells. He didn't talk to anyone. If you looked at him the wrong way, you were in trouble. And now he's Mr. Jovial, Mr. Gregarious. Hey, how are you guys? That's him showing that he knows it's not. He's done.
Tony Finau said he played with him in the final round in 19 when he won the Masters, and midway through the round, he's like, Tiger, how's the kids and the family and stuff? Tiger looked him dead in the face and said, F you. And that was the end of the conversation.
You're kidding me. Is that a true story?
I'm dead serious. Tony Finau tells the story.
I've never heard that. That's an incredible story.
Shoffley, the same thing. Looked him dead in the face and said, F you.
That seems unnecessary.
That is a little aggressive.
Couldn't you just say, hey, I'm focusing on the round, leave me alone?
That's not who he was, man. He's a killer out there.
Yeah. Wow. Well, he won. I mean, that's what he did 5 years ago. And I listen, that would return if he was in the hunt on the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, like if he was in the hunt on Sunday and someone, hey, Tiger, how are you, man? He would probably be like, get the hell out of here. But all right, that's John
funny.
Daly or Michael Block.
You
I will take John
you
Daly.
said you wanted Daly with his darts.
I'll take JD with his darts. You're going to take Michael Block.
I'm taking the Block
pro
party. Hole in one last PGA. He was dialed
This guy
in.
will not come close to making the cut. Neither will Daly. Daly will be at a Hooters by 3 p.m. on Friday.
Give me 20-1 on a hunch on Block making the cut.
Yeah.
20-1 is steep, but
dude, that's what it would be.
It's probably 14-1, 12-1. I'll give you 12-1.
No, I want 20.
15.
17-1.
17-1. Lock it in. He's not making the cut, dude. There's no way he's making the cut.
That's why it should be. Then it's not 14-1.
I know,
JP, get the odds.
It's still he's a capable golfer. He can play golf.
But you just said there's no way he's making the cut.
I would have
so
said
what
that
is
last year, and the guy finished top 15.
I actually think the odds of him making the cut are probably closer to 50-1.
I can look it up
so?
on FanDuel. I will give you an answer. By the end of the hour, I will tell you what it is.
That is, I mean, that's such bad odds.
Dude, that guy was hitting
a club professional.
He was hitting 3-woods into short par 4s last year.
I was standing at the tee at Oakwood, all right, Canadian Open, because he got invited up.
Yeah.
And our friend Lawrence Applebaum, and I was there. My dad was there. We were behind the ropes, standing behind the tee box, watching him tee off on one. Every other player was hitting 3-iron, 4-iron, 5-iron, because you just find the fairway, then it's uphill at one on Oakdale. This guy pulled out a 3-wood and leaned into it, and he hit first when he got to his bowl. And his playing partners were hitting 4-irons out there. Like, in other words, this guy is 50, 60, 70 yards behind everyone off the tee.
What do you think you would be? You'd be 80.
What does that matter? I'm a 10 handicap. This guy's playing at the PGA. What do you think I would do? I would hit a driver. I would have hit a driver, happily. Although when I played the Pro-Am last week, I kind of snookered a 5-iron out there just to get off the tee. I was so nervous.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know, because I had all this hype from the year before at St. G's.
Oh, so what? People were huddling around the tee.
Hype, babe.
There was a lot of hype, man. There was a lot of hype at the first tee of the Pro-Am. And I had to go up first. Tommy Fleetwood hit. He just hit a cut dart 3-iron, like right down the pipe. And then everyone's standing around, and I had to go first. And I was like, just give me a 5-iron and let me chisel one out. And I hit a brutal shot, but it got off the tee. All right, OverDrive PGA Picks brought to you by TaylorMade. Meet the all-new TP5, the softest 5-layer tour ball, and TP5X, now a half club longer. Play the number one ball for you. Visit TaylorMadeGolf.ca to learn more. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app. OverDrive continues, brought to you by FanDuel. We'll have our best bets later in the hour. So we were talking about Michael Block making the cut. Plus 570 to make the cut on FanDuel. Plus 570. So I actually gave you great odds. Ripping me off. But, FanDuel's not expecting much. All right, best bets later in the hour. So we were talking about this, this slide into the DMs type bit, we're working on. And to be fair, we're ironing out some kinks here. But I think I got somewhat of a grasp on this. Do you guys want to give this a shot? And
yes.
Just tell me if it works, tell me if it doesn't, and we'll see if we have something here.
Let it fly and just let us know what our obligation is or responsibility once you present the potential DM.
Yes. All right. So Kyle Dubas slides into Sheldon Keefe's DMs.
Oh, I love it already.
Yes. Saying, I'm thinking of Gass and Sullivan. You up for a reunion in Pitt? If you guys are receiving that as Sheldon Keefe, how are you responding to that DM?
If I was Sheldon Keefe, I would write back and say, careful what you're doing because Sully's got a lot of power around there, and he was a part of the decision making in hiring you.
Yeah.
So I just think Sully is kind of in tight as a head coach with that kind of Fenway group, and I don't think he's going anywhere. So it might be a great idea that you want to reunite and get the band back together, but you might want to check in the status of their coach because I don't think that ownership group would have any appetite as of right now to let him go. You might want to check on that and DM me later.
Unless
I love it. I love this bit.
the thing is unless Mike Sullivan is seeing the writing on the wall and doesn't want his legacy tarnished too, and go, I don't know if I have the stomach for a 5-year rebuild here. And so maybe he decides that he's going to walk. Like maybe he says, we're going to part ways, or he goes up in the organization higher, as a president or something like that, like chips away with Dubas. But I think Sully, he's 56 years old. He's a great coach. If he became available, wouldn't Tree want to call him?
Yeah, I think that's possible. 2-time Cup winner. Knows how to get the most out of good players.
So I think you're right. Like you do slide into Sheldon's DMs and say, you up, hey, checking in on you. What are you thinking? They're friends, so they're obviously going to have a conversation anyways. But I think you figure out what Mike Sullivan, like there's an end game there. Everyone's got an expiration date. And Sully might be near the end there in Pittsburgh anyways, if they're eventually going to break up the band. So you might want to go, hey, to Sheldon, collect your money this year. I'll be looking at you next summer type of thing. Or we got one more year, a plan with Sully. Like he might be part of the process moving on.
Yeah, my response if I'm Sheldon is thanks, but no thanks. Thumbs up.
Really?
Because for two different reasons. One, I don't think your team's any good. And I have a reputation of being a very good regular season coach. I need to add to my reputation as a postseason coach. And that Pittsburgh team you're building there, Kyle, that ain't going to cut it for me. Right. And secondly, I got to get out from underneath your shadow. I can't be known as just Kyle Dubas's guy. Now, you got me in at the Sioux, got me in with the Marlies, got me in with the Leafs. I can't thank you enough. But I'm going to sit this one out. Shout out to Sully. Say hi for me on the way out.
And this DM, there's a DM right beside it from the Devils, and they're horny.
That one I'm answering. And that one I'm responding with, send the bird, or I can jump on one myself. But I will be down there, and I am happy to accept whatever you're willing to offer. If I'm Sheldon Keefe and New Jersey comes calling and they're willing to match the money or close to it what the Leafs are paying, I don't know if that's possible, and I don't know how it all works in terms of who has to pay for what to make him whole. But Jersey is compelling. Jersey, they're a goalie away from being a really good team.
Yeah.
All right, so Tiger Woods sliding into Rory McIlroy's DMs, saying, I heard the news that you're single and ready to mingle. Want to get after it in Louisville? I know a spot. How does McIlroy respond?
You guys are going to be shocked by this, but if I'm Rory, I block him. Block Tiger
Really?
I
How
can't
come?
because this is fresh, and I can't be at Denny's at 3 a.m. and just making a mockery of this a week into being divorced. I block Tiger Woods, and I have to do it because I can't be doing the silly stuff immediately. Maybe it's a flight to play golf somewhere privately, me and you, and we'll hang and do fun stuff that dudes do. But I can't be at Denny's at 3 a.m., and I'm blocking you until you understand that.
All right.
It's an unnecessary evil to block Tiger Woods, but if he wants to get into that type of business, you block him. Rory has to block him.
I agree. Because you got to win a tournament here. Tiger also was like, I don't know if I can win this, and I've got my 15 majors, and I'm already the GOAT. Tiger's looking to have a possible good time Friday night. If he misses the cut, he's looking for a Perkins diner or a Denny's or whatever it is in the greater Louisville area. But if you're McIlroy, you cannot be even contemplating riding shotgun with Eldrick because you are there to win. You are there to concentrate on your game. You don't want to have anyone else in your circle of friends, anyone else saying, hey, what are you up to later? Grab a bite, whatever. McIlroy's got to be dialed in. His game is legit right now. He loves this course. I'm with you. Block and report.
I don't know.
Block and report.
You can't report.
You report for spam.
No way.
You report for spam on Tiger.
I think it's the other way. You go, what time are you thinking? Like you really dig in.
You're going to floor it with Tiger.
Why not?
You
It's
know the
Tiger
details
Woods.
of what the big cat was up to. You
I
can't get
know
involved
that.
in those
You're
types
single.
of
You can do whatever
altercations.
you want. Maybe
Yes,
he
you can.
Maybe
It's an
he.
adult.
I don't know his backstory. Maybe he's never gone out. Maybe he married the first girl he dated. Who knows? It's none of my business.
Maybe only
Never
if they
know.
maybe if he's garbage tomorrow, you unblock and a DM back and say Vegas for Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
Those two in Vegas.
Yes, Shadow Creek, and then a pool party with the two of them. Look out.
with the golf on to watch it.
I'm
That
just
would be a
saying, like,
scene.
I think you welcome it because you know what? Tiger Woods is the greatest who ever played. You could sit with him, have a beer with him, and start to pick his brain and go, what do you make of this? What do you make? Like, he might give you some knowledge,
It's
too.
an interesting thought, too. Maybe it's not about anything other than, hey, just two buddies getting together.
Friendship.
And, a
Have a
couple
great
of beers,
time.
and it's all good. All right, what else do we have here? How about this one? Alex Anthopoulos slides into the DMs of Edward Rogers, the man atop the Blue Jays operation.
He's sending nudes. He's sending nudes.
He sends a DM saying, I love the new Renos, but your team is a circus act right now. If you turf Shapiro and Atkins, I'm willing to come up for full autonomy and $15 million a year and take over the whole operation.
I love this
How we
segment
feeling?
already so much. It's given me new life, and it's going to carry us into the summer. Do you know the movies where they have that type of transaction and then the person's at the door 12 seconds later?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm do if I'm Edward Rogers. I knock on Double A's door 12 seconds later and say, I got the nudes and let's do this.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. I agree with you. I'm responding by saying, we have your banking account on file. Same account because the money is going through immediately.
How much do you want me to put in it?
Right.
Yeah,
is it the
send
same
it.
account from when you used to be here in 15, or have you updated your banking system? So send us the details, and the private bird is en route. And this is a private bird that even John Morosi will get accurate because it's coming, right? It's flying, and it's northbound. And if Double A is interested in taking over the whole operation, that's a DM I'm responding to immediately. Immediately.
I love it.
Noodles, do you disagree with that? I mean, come on.
I think I'm the road runner right there, and you
Yeah.
put in as much money as possible, and you make it happen. This guy is a legend, and we love him, friend of the show, everything. Like, you make it happen. Whatever
Goodwill,
it
too,
takes.
right? Like,
Exactly.
it's not, listen, Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins have been here a long time. I don't know what's going to happen with Ross. It doesn't, feels like he's on pretty uneasy ground right now. I mean, let's call it what it is. They got walked off today. Romano
It's
blew a
recency
save.
bias too, right? Like we're down on everything. Right
Everything
there.
is
So-
not good here. Everything is really not
I have a
good.
DM for you guys.
Okay.
Okay, what do you got?
What would Rick Tocchet do with this DM from Elias Pettersson? Uncle Ricky, I know I didn't look good in the presser, and I haven't been good for a month. But don't you worry, because the next game I'm going to be the best player on the ice. Question mark, believe me or not.
I would write back and say, I have full belief. And you know what I'm
Yes!
going to do? I'm going to load you up on a line. I'm going to move you up. Where do you want to play? You respond to me because we're back at home. The building's going to be rocking. You're our guy. I love you. I called you out because you deserved it. This is a long DM in response, probably running out of characters. But you tell me where you want to play. You give me an idea who you want to play with because I'm calling number 40 a lot tomorrow night. Love you.
Start him opening
Let's see you
shift with
tomorrow.
JT Miller.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I would do. You know, I would challenge him, but also I'd say, I believe in you, man. We need you. Get out there, turn that frown upside down. Let's get cooking here.
Yeah, I agree. I think you put the little heart on it, the reaction or whatever.
Yes.
You
Heart
put the
reaction
heart on it.
with a follow-up script.
Exactly, with a note saying, I'm in, I believe in you. We'll see you for 26 minutes tomorrow night type of thing.
I love it.
That's what I would do.
Penciling you in for 26 minutes tomorrow night.
Yeah.
That's a DM response.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
huge. That's a big number, though.
That might be a bit much.
24.
20 plus, for
yeah,
sure.
20 plus tomorrow.
All right. Well, there you go, man. Yeah,
Ooh.
I think the slide is officially here.
It's just called the slide. I like that.
Yeah, sliding into DMs.
Dude,
Sliding
there's so
into
many
DMs.
possibilities for this. We're going to take it to the next level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
Next
There's a
week, there's so much, and I haven't even activated my brain cells into this because
All right.
I am going to go nuts on that.
All
Very
right.
good.
Well, the slide has been established. It's officially a part of the rotation, and it will continue, and it may be spontaneous.
Yep.
We may be sliding into DMs spontaneously on the fly.
Yes.
Anything's possible. All right, we'll come back with our best bets brought to you by FanDuel. Recap another crushing loss by the Jays today. They were up. They had the game 2-1 into the ninth. Adley Rutschman goes deep on a 2-run shot off Romano. They end up with a split. Got rained out yesterday. They did get a win down in Baltimore, but this is the way they operate. Positive and then a negative, right? Positive Monday, negative Wednesday. That's just the way it always seems to go with this team. And tee up the one game in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight and one more recap on what we expect out of the PGA starting tomorrow. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app. All right, today's best bets are powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Only one game in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight, but I'm going to look at the PGA board. My boy Xander Schauffele paying plus 105, top 10. The guy shows up in every big tournament. He doesn't win, but he's in contention. Top 10 plus money, I'll take Xander. Koepka, top 5, including ties, paying plus 240. I think Koepka's got a real shot at winning this. Outright, maybe a good play. I think you're getting like 16 to 1 on FanDuel on that. But plus 240, T5, I fully expect him in the hunt. And Wyndham Clark paying plus 170 for a top 20 finish. Clark's a major winner. He had a great start of the year. He's a battler. I like it. There's some long shot plays. I'd maybe sprinkle on our boy Nick Taylor, paying a huge plus money. Denny McCarthy, my boy, rolls the rock. He loves this type of grass.
Yeah, but he's going to be hitting his driver off the deck.
Yeah, I know. That's the issue. He'll hit a 280 off the tee and literally be hitting 3-woods into par 4s all week. Today's best bets are powered by FanDuel. FanDuel's goal in the first 10 minutes. The most electric bet in hockey. And can be included in a same-game parlay on any NHL game. Please play responsibly. Must be 19 plus or physically located in Ontario. So, yeah, we got a couple of NBA games tonight.
I think we forgot about CHL games, too. Our Easton Cowan. London
Cowan,
has
I guess.
Yeah.
They close out the Generals tonight.
Yeah, they have a chance to sweep, and Moose Jaw has a chance to sweep Portland. So there's some teams you got to pay attention to. So if you're channel surfing, check it out. I mean,
there you go.
CHL, the future of the National Hockey League.
Yes, PWHL as well. I mean, tough news. Natalie Spooner done for the playoffs.
Oh, I saw that.
No, why didn't see that? What
injury.
happened?
Well, she took a hit, and I don't know. I don't want to say she blew out her knee, but she injured her knee to the point where it's not looking good. Yeah, she's out. She's not
out
for
the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, she's had a great year. Led the league in scoring and. I mean, she's one of the faces of Canadian women's hockey, has been for a long time. Yeah. So, that sucks for Natalie Spooner. But Toronto's in the driver's seat in their series, and we'll see what happens with the PWHL playoffs. So there you go. It's not just Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. We got CHL, PWHL. We got a couple of NBA games, and then PGA Tour tomorrow. PGA Championship
Pacers.
tomorrow.
Watch out for my Pacers.
Yeah.
Right. Your
I think
Pacers?
they push it to 7. The Knicks got them last night. But I think that's going 7. I think Boston wins tonight. OKC versus Dallas, like Luka versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a great matchup, man.
Yeah, it is.
Like a great
must-watch TV, man.
Yeah, it is. Like the way those two play and what they're capable of doing. And then, the Nuggets, they got past T-Wolves last night. I wouldn't be shocked though if Anthony Edwards went off, in Game 6 back home and pushed that to 7. I think Denver will win it. But, there's a lot of great young talent in the NBA, the NHL, the whole 9. All right. So there you go.
Who's winning Starves Avalanche tonight?
I think Dallas.
I've been wrong. I've been wrong. I guess, what, I'm going to go against my thinking and say Colorado because I thought the Canes were done. I thought the Bruins were done. Colorado, they've got championship pedigree. They got pride. I think they'll show up and play tonight.
Yeah.
Colorado. All right. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. As always, everyone for tuning in. TV, radio, podcast, web. We appreciate that. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at
4 p.m.
We'll chat then.